podcast?
I don't remember.
All right. Well, I'm excited.
What do you have against
I'm Gus.
tripping? I'm Gavin.
You're David.
And I'm David Eddings. Pleasure to be here.
We didn't go over that.
I'm Birdie Birds.
I'm
That's
Gavin
also a pleasure to be
Free.
here.
I didn't say my last name, but it's Free.
Do you feel the need to say your last name a lot since like David's a fairly common name?
Yeah, most people just call me Eddings or Eddings. Oftentimes I get David every now and then. I've never introduced myself as Dave, but yeah, because there's so many Davids out there, Eddings. But the problem is there's another David Eddings out there too, which trips people up as well. That's my cousin. He's a fantasy author. And he wrote like the Belgariad.
So you're related to this dude as well?
Yeah, yeah.
So who has the Twitter handle?
That would be me.
Nice.
That would be me. I get a lot of his followers.
Does
though,
he have David Eddings too, or like something else?
He's dead. He passed away about 7 years ago, maybe 6, whatever. But
So pre-Twitter.
No. Also, he was pretty much against computers. He wrote longhand and stuff like that. So didn't ever squat a website or anything. So.
Yeah. He had to fight over the MySpace account or something like that.
Yeah. No, he didn't even know that MySpace existed. He was pretty out of it by then. He was about 40 years older than me when he passed away. What's crazy though is that I was at E3 when he died, and I was sitting next to somebody, and they go, it was right when Twitter first came out, and he goes, "Hey, you're dead." And the moment that he said that, I knew, like, oh my God, no. And then throughout like the next couple hours at E3, everybody's like, "You're dead, you're dead." And I'm like, dude. And it was like 2 hours later, my father called me and let me know that it.
Wow.
Away. So
that's somebody
found out
making a joke that they couldn't possibly see the connection.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was weird.
I get that.
That's weird. Yeah.
I think I've heard of something similar where somebody like walked into a room and goes, "Wow, who died?" It's like, our friend died. We just found out, it's that kind of thing. It's just like, oh shit.
Also, you're in a funeral home.
Yeah, which is
Yeah,
weird
it's like
timing.
Everybody's
in black.
ask,
Yeah.
right?
It's like interrupts the eulogy. Hey, who died? But there's some people I know in life, and I think David Eddings, you were one of them. There's some people that I call by their first and last name, and I don't know why. And I can't think of anyone else I do it before. I'm trying to go through the list of people I know in my head. Gus, you might have been that way for a while. Like I might have referred to you as Gussarola, even though Gus is such an uncommon name.
Gussarola, like rolls off the tongue. It's like Gussarola.
It's all liaison, isn't that what they say between the two? It's like Gussarola. Yeah, when you have two words where they string together.
I just learned something then. I didn't know that.
That might be a French term.
What's it called?
Liaison.
Oh. Now we get to the offensive
Well, at least
accent
you don't
portion
do
of the
it when you're-
podcast.
I just want to point out I'm also enjoying, not an official sponsor, Postum, the alternative to coffee drink.
Are you drinking Postum now?
I just have a cup of water, but I just wanted to give a shout out.
You went and grabbed that. They're normally back behind you.
Ever since they were on our podcast, or we talked about them on the podcast, they've like catapulted to 350 followers, I think, on Twitter.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Are they
With a little
making me
luck,
jealous.
400 coming up. I'll see what Postum's at these days.
Let's look that up. So, you are a fellow flamethrower pre-order person. Yeah.
Did you really?
I pre-ordered a flamethrower from the Boring Company.
Yeah.
I got about 1,000 tweets about that.
I was gonna ask you if you were gonna get one, because obviously for slow-mo guys you have more of a use for it, but then I thought he's probably been asked this 1,000 times.
Well, people asking me because I had a flamethrower and someone nicked it.
I know that because as soon as I posted on Twitter about the flamethrower, everyone said, "Don't keep it in your shed." And I was like, what's this shed joke? And apparently you kept a lethal weapon in a shed outside your house, and now it's gone.
Where else do you keep a flamethrower? In the kitchen?
The garage. Why not?
Well, there's already
have
fire
one.
in your kitchen,
Flamethrower
right?
closet.
I don't have a flamethrower closet.
I guess really,
Now you got to build one.
Well, I don't have a flamethrower anymore.
I would keep
Don't
a
worry
gas
about it.
can in my shed, and that's really the dangerous part. The flamethrower just throws it, but you can throw it, right? You can light gas on fire and throw it.
Yeah, did that for a video as well.
Oh god.
Yeah, I'm not going to get another flamethrower. I already made that video. I don't need it.
Wow,
Also,
look at
it looks
you.
like it's just air and it's like less than a 10-foot flame.
It's
We had
pretty-
like a 50-foot flamethrower.
Yeah,
for the
this is a
video.
very casual flamethrower.
It is like a cosplayer version of a flamethrower. It does seem like it's been limited in what it can do.
Well, it looks like a super soaker, so that's your first
little
hint
bit.
that it might not be the most industrial flamethrower around.
It's also gas, not liquid. Like when I used to see a flamethrower, it sprays the liquid, which sticks to stuff.
Right.
Yeah,
This
my
is
old one,
not
it was
that.
it was like napalm. It was like goo.
Man, I'm starting to think maybe this thing is like the equivalent of
It's like the
hairspray.
Fisher Price flamethrower,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
It's not
My
quite the
first
same.
flamethrower.
My little flamethrower. Or like the equivalent of the hairspray with the lighter, you know? I don't
Except
think
less
it's
dangerous, hopefully.
I don't think it's ever caught anything on fire.
It looks like a bug assault with
Looks like a paintball gun
nozzle
with a
on there.
silencer.
Bug assault.
Have you seen
Well, I'm going to
Yeah,
borrow
I've seen
yours.
those.
You ordered one already, right?
I did.
All right, great. You're going
I
to
might
bring it up to
cancel
work.
though.
You're going to what?
I might
Why
cancel
would
it.
you cancel it?
I'm not sure if I can.
You can't.
What if you
cancel
canceled
it?
it? Elon Musk called you.
Why
what went wrong with your order?
Why did you buy one?
Strictly because I have learned over my course, David Eddings, of my career in video games, as a consumer, I have learned never, ever, ever pre-order hardware or software. Always pre-order hardware because hardware is always in great demand, and if you get it, you can just sell it,
Just like the vessel.
Yep.
I can probably, exactly.
Just like Google Glass.
If I get this whatever flamethrower thing in, I even ordered it like next day shipping, which was like $40 more. But I got it in case I decide when it gets here, it's like, oh, people are going to want these things. They're all sold out. Now it's a big deal, and then I could sell it if I want to.
You could open it up, use it, and sell it for more than you bought it for within the first couple of days because of the shortage.
Yep.
That's smart.
I would have sold those dopey little Nintendo things that have all the Nintendo games in them.
NES Classic?
I hate all these things. Just get the digital version on your current Nintendo console. Don't
Well, they
get
don't
this-
have
But
it.
you can't, yeah.
What do you mean?
You can't get that shit on a Switch.
Well, why not?
I don't work for Nintendo, dude. I'm just telling you the way it is.
They should offer it like as a
Because
digital
exactly
download.
what you're saying. They wanted demand for their tiny little thing.
Exactly. And then we got some, and I was like, oh, people are going crazy for these. I don't want this. We'll sell it. But it was given to me as a gift for a speaking engagement.
Who hurt you? Who at Nintendo hurt you?
No,
it must be the same person that hurt Ryan.
Ryan hates Nintendo.
Why?
I don't know.
David Eddings, what was your first console you ever owned?
The very first console I owned was the Coleco Telstar. It was a Pong console.
Holy cow, yeah.
Yeah, back in.
Did you have
back
hockey
in the
as well?
70s. Yeah, we had tennis, hockey, and squash, which was basically you versus God.
Yeah.
And what was funny is you could actually there was a analog slider between the games. You had 3 choices of games, and you could slide between tennis and hockey and give yourself an extra guy.
Yep.
And there, of course, both sides had an extra guy. Of course, all the guys moved in unison up and down like that.
So you're
But
playing 2 games at once, kind of.
You could play. Well, you could have an extra hockey guy. I guess.
Was that the first day you became a cheater?
That was hacking. That was yeah. It was just it happened automatically. You couldn't help it. But getting from one game to the other, you would see the transition happen. You're like, wait a second, what if I just left it there?
I love it where
actually
that's
worked.
an analog function.
Yeah.
Changing game is like, well, you're almost
Very
there.
analog.
To be clear, this is the way this thing worked. This Pong,
Yeah.
that was tennis. But then when you had 2 on your side, that's hockey.
Yep.
Then when you had 3, that was soccer. And so
It was pretty ridiculous, but it was a lot of fun, and we spent hours. And if you wanted to take a break and pause, you had to align the paddles so that the ball would go right in between even, so you could get to a point if it was a tough, and then you could walk away from it and you could leave it there.
Call
like,
it truce.
it's
Be like,
perfect.
all right, I'm not going to move it if you don't move
perfect.
I spent so many years playing Pong before even the Atari came out that there was actually a giant Pong at the National Video Game History Museum in Frisco, Texas. And when it opened up, they invited like Palmer Luckey and Cliff Blazinski, some other guys that were there. Vince Zampella, like a Respawn. I know I'm name dropping and everything like that, but it was a bunch of these folks. They were interviewing him and whatnot, and we got to play giant Pong. They had big, giant freaking Pong with the big paddle like this.
Oh, I see it. That's it.
Yeah, and there it is.
The
And that's
broadcaster
it.
is
That is
super
it. And
fast at finding
I
stuff.
kicked all of their asses. I was undefeated on giant Pong.
Is there a cobweb hanging from the knob? What is that?
It's a
Yeah,
knob
that's
web.
a retro thing.
That's probably for some Halloween get up or whatever. But yeah, it was awesome. And I played Palmer and I kicked his ass and I went to say good game and he just turned around the other way and walked
Yeah.
off.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's good to know those guys went because now I can go and there's less likely a chance that I'll run into them. So,
Yeah.
But I actually I was at a open house for my kid and one of the other parents there had a video game museum from Frisco, Texas. It's one of those things. What do they call that? Some kind of bias when you see something once and then you start seeing it.
like confirmation bias?
yeah.
Yeah, but something that's not confirmation bias.
It's like when you buy a car, you never see them on the road. You think, oh, I'm going to get a unique car,
Yeah.
and all of a sudden, that's all you see
Yeah.
is the same model of your car, right?
So literally 2 days ago, I heard about this thing for the first time, and now you're bringing it up. Is
There
it
you
worth
go.
going to this thing?
Absolutely. I'd like to say that I had a little bit to do. In fact, there's my character. I have a character that's on the mural there on the wall, whatever. But
Can you tell us what character that is?
nah.
Okay.
No,
Okay.
it's a little robot. It's a little. All right. So for those that
annoying
don't
robot.
know, all right. By the way, I didn't even. So by the way, to the folks that are listening and watching, I'm a new hire over here at Rooster Teeth. I started about 6 months
Yeah, I
ago.
was gonna say not that new anymore. 6 months in.
I don't know. It's still.
Oh, they
still
gave it
fairly
away
new.
on the
I have
thing,
a-
look.
I have a lot.
Beta
Oh my
Mike.
God! Well, there you go. So I'm the voice of Claptrap in Borderlands, and also TK Baja. in the game too. And I'm even doing I'm doing another voice in a game that we're actually publishing here at Rooster Teeth, which we'll announce if you want to, whenever we want to get to that point.
He's voicing the Rooster.
No. I'm voicing a character in a game that we're going to publish.
Here's what we're doing. We are trying to get 4 Pong paddles at once, and then we're going to have our whole own sport. That's rugby.
Esport ready.
Yeah.
So my wife doesn't play video games.
That's a shame.
She'll be around when I'm playing video games, and she hasn't met you yet, but she fucking hates you. Because in the first game,
she hates the character, right?
Yeah,
or does she really hate
look at me? I'm dancing.
Check me out. I'm dancing.
I was like, she would hear that every. She'd be like, "What the fuck is this game that you're playing?"
Yeah,
like,
I'm so sorry about that.
It.
You know, I totally lifted that line from a movie, from a cartoon, an old Hanna-Barbera cartoon, Tom and Jerry, which they lifted it from like a Bowery Boys cereal, which nobody is going to know what that is.
No
black
idea.
and white days, whatever. But that, check me out, I'm dancing. It's like this from this cartoon, Tom and Jerry. It's like yo mama Catero or yo Tambi, something like that. I forget what it is. And his little mouse, he's over there dancing with like this little mop type of
God, now you say that, I feel like I remember.
Yeah, and I think these are like the original memes back in the day, because I swear that Curly Howard from the Three Stooges also said something like this, right?
Oh, I can see that being a Curly line.
I'm dancing.
And so I totally lifted it and stole it. In fact, most of the stuff that there you go. So the great artist, right?
There you go.
But
homage.
So the character's supposed to be irritating,
right?
Because the character's there to remind you, to nag you that you have missions that you're supposed to complete, because if you
want to get away from him,
you will outlevel the missions and the whole thing's screwed up. So,
well, you do get an achievement for high-fiving him, which is like the easiest achievement ever in any game.
It took me forever to figure out how to do that.
I love it. Really? Did it?
Yeah.
It says it on the screen. Come on.
No, I know you said high five him, but you don't know what to do. Like, am I supposed to? Oh, you're supposed to melee hit him.
Yeah,
that's it. That's
give
the
him a
high
punch.
five, right?
Yeah.
Oh, high five means just punching him in the face.
Yeah.
Well, it does a different animation. You actually high five him, but high five. Whatever.
It's
there you go.
Teddy's absolute favorite character. And which is the one that's the Moon one where you can play as Claptrap?
The pre-sequel.
Pre-sequel, that's what it is. And he played as Claptrap. I remember when they announced that, when you guys announced that, I thought, that's going to be interesting. Because that's a character that's playable. It's like, that's a lot of time with that character.
I was against the whole idea.
No, really?
I thought it would have been overexposure, and I thought that nobody would want to play that character. I was completely wrong. That was the most popular character.
I'm not surprised to hear that in the least. Yeah.
It was very, very surprising given the fact that it was useless. Like it was random, right? So people would try to complete this game with 4 useless characters playing together. It was nuts. But I want to say that, in defense of your wife, he's supposed to be irritating but endearing, like your kid brother. Your mom says, yeah, you can go hang out with your friends, but you got to take your kid brother along, and you'll slap your kid brother around, but you won't let anybody else do it. Yeah. You'll circle the wagons around your kid brother. So that's who Claptrap's
I think I loved Claptrap in all that series of games. In fact, I think, close to the end, spoiler for the end of Borderlands 2, it's your fault if you haven't played it.
Yeah,
close to the end when, you're going, you're going to finally confront everyone, then you get to the area where there's the stairs. And then Claptrap just has that breakdown where it's like, no! It's like the one thing that he can't overcome. It was probably the best moment, for me, the best moment in the entire series.
Thank you very much.
Also, in defense of your wife, I want to give her a shout out for putting up with you for the 16 hours that you're not at work every day, plus weekends.
It's a lot to deal with.
She can like or dislike whatever she wants, in my opinion.
I think
she puts up with you.
I'm going to frame the shirt when I'm not at home. That way she can always have my face to look at. It's like I'm always there.
There you go. Perfect. My wife is the opposite. I've been married for 25 years, and my wife is sick and tired of me. She's like, can you work late tonight? And
we got off on a little bit of a tangent here, but the thing I was saying, Gavin, is I don't hate Nintendo. My first console that I had was an Atari 2600. Then I got a ColecoVision and some other stuff. And it was like probably 5 or 6 years before Nintendo came out. By that point, it's not my retro sweet spot. Like if you played Atari 2600 games, you'd be like, you wouldn't be excited about that.
Yeah, I played Atari 2600 and I was excited for NES. I mean, the shit out of Atari 2600.
Kind of in the middle ground, though. To me, it's like it's not, especially like the Super Nintendo era. It's like that's not retro to me. You know?
Do you remember when the Intellivision came out and it actually had animated stick figures and crowd noise?
The baseball game was fucking great.
Yeah, you could hear the crowd. You could hear the smack of the bat, and it was great, right? And
go back and listen to it. It's probably like
it was terrible. It sounds like static now, but they had the B-52 bomber one with the voice.
Separate module.
The voice module. Yeah. was great. It's like B-52 bomber, whatever. It was awesome.
B-52 bomber.
It wasn't anything that nice. it was really, really electronic.
I'm not sure I
Watch out
consider-
for black.
I'm not sure I consider like Super Mario World retro. It's just what I grew up with. Like I don't consider that a retro game.
Yeah.
Do you
I
consider
don't have that
retro like
connection.
before your time?
Yeah. Like shit in cabinets and stuff. Like stuff.
Hey,
Like what we're talking about, everything that we've
slow
just said
down.
for the last 10 minutes.
So I remember when Super Mario Brothers was actually an arcade game, and I actually bought the NES because I knew it would save me money at the arcade. I was 15 years old at the time. I was assistant manager at the mall, and I sent an
assistant manager of what?
Frullati. It was a
Frullati.
smoothie. Yeah, it was like the very first one. And this was at Town East Mall in Mesquite, Texas. And I know. And so I sent an employee to Toys R Us to pick up the NES for me, and I didn't go to sleep that night. I stayed up all night long playing that game and freaking loved every minute of it.
We don't think about it much these days because of the state of like PC gaming and consoles now. But it was a very, very big deal that the NES was the same experience as playing it in the arcade. It looked the same. The home versions of all games sucked. Like the transition from Pac-Man from arcade to Atari,
terrible.
that's what sank the Atari 2600. Caused the video game crash of 1982, which the video game industry declined by 95%.
That's why they didn't want the NESs at all at retail. They had to do that ROB to make it a toy. So
Right.
they would even carry it at the
Oh, the
stores.
robot?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that would be on the toy.
Gus has one.
Did they have two games? I know they had Gyromite, and I forget what the other game was.
Both of them sucked. You just went and just pushed the button.
It was like picked up the top and moved it,
F
put
the
it down
robot,
somewhere
man.
else.
F the robot.
It looks cool, but it doesn't do anything.
Dude,
like
damn thing.
Like when you see the box, you're like, "Oh man, is that thing gonna play games with me? Is it gonna
Right.
talk?" No, it's just gonna move these stupid little tops.
And it would like open doors for you in Gyromite, wouldn't it?
It's it.
Yeah.
It was so sad too. You wanted it to be your friend, but it wasn't going to do a goddamn thing.
I don't understand why. Like, and I guess I know why they did it, but they designed it with like those big eyes, and it's like, wow, this is gonna do so many. No, it's just plastic.
But it actually did look at the screen though, didn't it? Because it flashed. The screen would flash and give it
Yeah,
instructions.
there was some sort of like the light gun.
Yeah.
There was some sort of light sensor on there.
It was fascinating to me the way that the zapper worked on the NES was, the screen would flash, and it's not that anything was coming out from the gun. It was the sensor in the gun was reading when the screen flashed and what was hitting it.
Right.
Like there was no transmittal from the gun. The gun was the passive
It's
receiver.
such cool technology though. I love all that old.
Yes, like
crap.
how are you going to make this work with such limited hardware resources?
It was amazing at the time. That was such an incredible period. What was that? 85 and then the Christmas of the New Year's of 86, whatever.
86 is when I associated Nintendo.
Yeah, when that came out, and man, it was 86. So it was magical, and the NES brought video games back in the home like nobody
Without
else.
question.
Yeah, and even now, even though I didn't, I was 15 when that came out. That was it's retro. It's still it holds a place in my heart, even more so than I think the Atari. I think ColecoVision was the closest thing at the time to. Remember, you had the Donkey Kong was like, oh man, it's almost like the
Almost
arcade,
like
right?
it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But finally, with the NES, it was arcade quality.
Same thing.
Do arcade cabinets count as microtransactions?
With continues?
I don't think it's. I think it's
I feel like that came full circle.
It's not necessarily a microtransaction. I think it's almost
It's
like
just the transaction.
right. It's almost like an equivalent of like a freemium game, where it's like, but without the free part. It's like you're paying
Well, it's
in
free to
installments
walk
to
up
play
to
the
it.
game. Right. You can watch the demo screen.
Yeah.
Then if you want to interact, then it's like little iterative charges.
I wonder how the NES would have gone if you actually had to put money into it.
But what's funny is I did the same
Like
thing you did. You
swipe a
talked
credit
about
card.
using. About justifying it as spending less money in arcades if you had an NES. I was too young. I couldn't buy it
We
on
have
my
a
own.
guest
But that's how I
popping in
justified
here.
it to my parents. I was like, if you buy me this game console, what's up, man? I will not go to the arcade anymore.
Oh,
You want to talk about that?
oh, thanks, Jack. Appreciate that. Yeah.
Let me read something before we
Okay.
get to that. I feel like that's
all right.
that's a
Well,
great
Thank you. That's a great idea.
hook to hold off on. I want to remind everyone this episode of Rooster Teeth Podcast is brought to you by Tripping. Did you know that the average family visits 5 totally different websites before booking a vacation rental? You can spend less time planning your next trip and more time relaxing with Tripping.com, the world's #1 site for vacation rentals. Tripping is trusted by millions of travelers and featured by the New York Times, Travel and Leisure, Forbes, and more. Whether you're looking for a cabin or a beachfront home to get away to this winter or are already looking ahead to vacations this spring, Tripping can help you find the perfect place to stay. Vacation rentals offer flexibility, perks, amenities that hotels don't, like multiple bedrooms, backyards, hot tubs, free Wi-Fi, and even fully stocked kitchens so you can plan and cook your own meals. With Tripping, one search lets you filter, compare, and sort over 10 million available properties on trusted sites like Vrbo, TripAdvisor, Booking.com, and more. Don't wonder if you're getting the best deal. You'll save an average of 18% per night by booking your vacation with Tripping.com. So don't forget, if you want to save time and money while booking the perfect vacation rental for your next trip, head to tripping.com/roosterteeth today. That's TRIPPING.com/roosterteeth. Tripping.com/roosterteeth. Big thanks to Tripping for sponsoring this episode of the Rooster Teeth Podcast.
Microsoft has a console, Sony has a console, and those are the big ones now today. Nintendo, obviously, as well. But there's like so many people that have tried to make consoles over the years. You know about Sega? Sega tried to make a console. That's commonly known with several consoles.
They did a fine job on some of those.
Which ones? The Genesis I liked, but all the ones afterwards were kind of. The Dreamcast was good.
They also had a Master System.
Yeah, who had that? That was like that was like when you were Atari and the kids had. You know who had a Master System was Jeff Ramsey.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. Yeah.
What was the Saturn?
That was the disc-based, first disc-based, I believe, right?
Was that like N64?
No, Sega Saturn.
No, but like when the era. Yeah, it was around that.
Yeah. But it's weird. You go back far enough, and the Pong thing that you're talking about was probably made by Magnavox. And Magnavox made the Odyssey as well, which was a super cool console that very few people could afford. My like rich buddy had that, and I was like, "Ooh!"
What was the one where you
the Rings game
stuck sheets to the TV to like give yourself?
There's a number of those, but that was
the Vectrex.
Yeah, the Vectrex was one of them.
Yeah,
and
that was cool. It was like super vectorized graphics. That actually looked quite good for the time.
Yeah,
I think.
Do you know who made the Intellivision?
It's Coleco. No,
it's Mattel.
Yeah, that's right. Mattel did.
And it's weird because you don't associate Mattel as a console company. But they were like, it shows that there was toy companies trying to get involved with it or electronics companies in this no man's land when they were trying to figure out video games. But it's weird to think of Mattel.
Well, Mattel had a lot of those handheld. Remember they had the handheld football games and stuff like that.
Oh, they had like
really shitty.
Oh, I love that football game when I was like 5 or whatever. It sucked.
I'll play the beginning of B-17 Bomber.
Only 3 lanes to run.
Yeah.
No passing.
We'll see if this holds up.
There was never any passing.
It's like old school.
There was passing, but it sucked.
That's amazing.
Isn't that great, right?
Oh my God, you're right. It was more like how you said it.
A little twangy.
17 bomber.
I wonder what like the sample rate on that is, or like what size of audio, or what size the audio file is for that.
Well, I read at one point. I have to look it up, but like on the Sega Genesis cartridges. Obviously, it's limited memory and storage space on these cartridges. And the Sega that comes up at the beginning, that was, for some games, 12% of the cartridge had to be dedicated.
I thought it might have been higher than that.
Was it higher than 12 or something like that?
It's like 20 to 25% of the cartridge memory was just the Sega.
Having to play that, right? I'll look it up.
Why not just put that in the hardware?
Yeah, because it came up later. You know, I read a great documentary about. Actually, it wasn't a documentary. It was a game that was put on the Xbox console, and you go through and you can play games. But then they also you could look up info on the game and it had developers. And typically, a lot of these games, these cartridge-based games, one person worked on it, and that was it. 1 or 2 people.
Yeah.
And then they talked about the history of the game and like how it sold and everything like that. And I mean, a huge hit was like 200,000 copies back then. A huge hit. And a lot of times for the cartridges, because they had to go to manufacturing, their deadlines were so tight that they would ship the game and then they would test it. And then they would put in the documentation for the game, which was printed later, they would put the things that were wrong with it as Easter eggs. Like, if you get to this part and go this way, you'll get a purple screen. That's the special Easter egg. Like that.
If you get to level 3, you can't finish it.
Hey.
You know, I remember being a few years into the gaming industry and meeting somebody who used to program games for the ColecoVision. And I remember at the time thinking like, wow, you've been in it for so long, right? Like that's, and now I realize like they were in it for like just a portion of the time that I've been in it now already. You know what I mean? Yeah. But I feel like the games that were made at that time. So Janelle Jaquays used to work at Coleco, doing ColecoVision games. And I just remember one time she was talking about that. It was just like, that's freaking incredible. But at the time it was like 12 years prior to me getting in the industry. And that just seemed like ancient, right? Mm-hmm. And now I hesitate to even say how long I've been in this one.
A lot of those people also invented like a lot of the stuff. Like there was no rules for how you did it.
We're all inventing. Even now we're still inventing, right? And there's always that innovation that starts that next jump. But I mean, all the people that we know are innovators, right? You know, I mean, we're sitting here today because
it's innovative to wear your own face on a shirt.
By the way, I fucking nailed it. By the way, I had my Gavin moment over here. 12%. It's 1/8 of the cartridge.
Okay.
Yeah. Just 1/8 of all the
Nailed it.
cartridges.
People are dying to know what's in the box.
Oh,
All right. Well, you know what? I have got a few things to tease right now in case
don't wanna
I
say
never,
it, Gus?
in case I never get to come on the show
What's in
again.
the box?
What's in the box? What's in the box? I do want to say that there's one thing that we're going to mention tonight. That is an exclusive thing just for this audience. We're going to announce the game that we recently signed. I'm teasing it a little bit. I don't know when y'all want to do that. And you know the one I'm talking about.
Your full discretion.
But all right, then I'll just do it right now because I'd like to go ahead and get this out because this is one of the things that I'm really excited about. And we'll talk about RT Games, and I want to talk about the secret project that we have, the internal project, if we get a chance to do that.
I'd love to, yeah.
But we also, we're publishing games. We signed a game that I'm really excited about called Bendy and the Ink Machine. I don't know if you've seen this or not or heard about this or not, but it's like Five Nights at Freddy's meets BioShock meets Cuphead, and quite frankly, I'm very, very, very excited about that. So that's the big news here tonight. And so whenever we want to get to that, we can talk about it, and we'll leave that for later. I know that
we're there right now.
Let's talk about it.
Okay, great. So the Bendy and the Ink Machine is by the Meatly Games.
Can I back you up just one step here?
Sure.
So for a lot of people, there's a lot of people who enjoy video games don't understand the video game business. So when people talk about developer, talk about a publisher.
None of us understand the video game business, but
just briefly explain what's the difference between publishing and developing.
Great question. Imagine you're right. You're an author, right? Stephen King, a writer, right?
I'd love to be. I'm Stephen King.
Stephen King is the developer. Stephen King writes the books. He makes the games. If you were the developer, he'd be making the games. Stephen King's publisher does not write the books. However, Stephen King's publisher does indeed, get the books out to market. They give him the money in advance. A lot of times, they make sure that they supply an editor. They make sure that it works, it fits on the page, whatever. They print it. They get it out to the stores. They sell it. They take the money. And they try to go find more Stephen Kings out there to publish more books, right?
And I do find that, like, in the publishing world, people, or I should say publishing world, in the literature world, people know those authors and don't necessarily know the publishers at all.
That's right.
Whereas in the video game world, a lot of times people just focus, especially when they have ire, they focus it on the publisher.
Yeah,
and don't do
right?
like EA. People always complain about EA. EA is a publisher. They're
Well,
not a developer.
EA is a developer and a publisher.
Well, for
because
sports and stuff,
they own some of the development studios. But I came from the school of gathering of developers, God Games, back in the day. And to me, it's more about the developer. It's really about, those are the rock stars, right? Nobody goes to movie just because it's a universal picture, right?
Yeah.
They go to a movie because Steven Spielberg is directing or
Tom Cruise.
Or Jordan Vogt Roberts. I'm just giving a shout out to a friend of mine.
Oh, gotcha.
All right, yeah. Anyway, he did Kong
Island, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Hey, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, how do you know that?
What's that?
Dude, he's a good director. He's a great director.
Well, he's a video game guy too. He was all over
That was with
E3.
Kojima. I feel like Kojima's always
all right,
tweeting
I know.
it.
All right, so Jordan's doing the Metal Gear Solid. He's directing and written by Derek Connolly, who actually lives here in Austin, by the way. All right, but that said, just like directors and writers and movie stars are the ones that people go see a movie for, not because of who basically produced it, right? Nobody gives a shit about a MGM film, but you
right.
So that's how publishing should be with developers as well. Now, the cool thing is that here at Rooster Teeth, we're not just a publisher, but we're also developing games too. We have an internal dev team. They're working on Project Secret Codename right now. We'll leave it at that. It's a sci-fi game shooter. It's set in the future. And it's a lot of fun right now. It's funny too, by the way. And later on, if we have time, I was hoping I could get the audience to help us with some of the future jargon and catchphrases. And
you want like crowdsource a little bit of stuff? Or?
Well, I had some things to talk about in that regard, but we can get
Can we
to
talk about the theme of the game?
But we have so many things.
We passed over a couple of things. So
this is all what's coming up next, right? Now you pick which one we're going to talk about.
I feel like we need to see what's in the box.
All right.
This
show
is
me what's in the box first, and then show everybody else. All right, now go ahead. Go ahead.
I can do that. All right. So
First of all, why does Jack have this box?
because I gave it to Jack.
Personally,
Hey, there's Jack.
I did.
Look at Jack.
I gave this to Jack.
What are you doing on Always Open?
I gave this to Jack.
Jack, did you ask for this for free on Twitter?
Sorry.
Did you ask for this for free on Twitter?
No. Dave brought this to me. And so
Okay.
this is something. So we do Extra Life every year. And Dave's like, hey, I have some really cool stuff I'd love to give to you to give away for Extra Life. And he brought me this incredible piece. And I'm like, so last year I was like, we don't have enough time to really prep this thing. Let's build this up. So for 2018 Extra Life, we'll do something really, really
This is like
cool.
10 months of hype then.
Yeah,
This deserves it, man.
And I'm glad. Thank you very much for doing doing this too because this was a gift that I received when I was in Dongguan, China, having the original loot chests made for the Borderlands 2 Collector's Edition. And when I was over there, this manufacturer happens to be an official Sanrio manufacturer and licensee, and they do Hello Kitty. And while I was there, if you know anything about Chinese culture, if you ever say, like, oh, I would love to see something like this, and if it's within their power as a host, they will make that happen. And so I said, oh, I would love to see a Hello Kitty loot chest. And as I was leaving, they presented me with an official
Oh my God.
Hello Kitty loot chest.
So it's a loot chest from Borderlands in the style
It is
of Hello
a
Kitty.
Borderlands.
So is that a one of a kind
It is
object?
a Borderlands. It is one of a kind. It is a border. I'm just trying to get the light reflecting. You can see the logo. There's a Gearbox and 2K logo there.
Oh, there's
Right?
one.
Yeah. It is. I was there when this was made. This is made with official Hello Kitty.
Can I hold it?
Plastic? Yes, of course. And you can even open it up.
It's
by the
official
way.
Hello Kitty plastic.
It is official Hello Kitty plastic and stickers. Yeah, pass it over. And there's
So I don't know why you're
only
showing
one.
this to anyone because I'm going to win this.
It's the only one in existence. and the reason I gave it to Jack is because I knew when I received it, and one, I wasn't really expecting to receive that. But I know that somewhere out there's a Hello Kitty fan who's a Borderlands fan, or maybe just a Hello Kitty fan that wants everything.
Does it come with your business card in it too?
It does. It does. Yeah, you can call me later. But you know, the reality is something like this, I think, can raise a lot of money, maybe even over $10,000, maybe even over $20,000 for
sure.
to the right collector, right? And if we can do this for Extra Life, and if it can go to relieve some children's pain or suffering or anything like that, you know, having spent a lot of time in the hospital myself, I know how much it sucks, and so I would like to see this do something good for some folks. So that's why Jack came in and gave it to me right now, because we want to let the world know that it exists. It's been hidden for a while, and now that you know, spread the word, and maybe we can help raise a lot of money.
You got to wait until
November.
Extra Life. Yeah, but we're
So that's one thing. We decided whether or not to do like an auction style, like where we actually put this up on eBay and have the proceeds go to Extra Life, or if we want to do sort of our raffle style, which we do with the majority of our prizes for Extra Life. And I think we're going to do an auction for this one, which will be unique and kind of one-off. We might do that with a couple of things this year. So
right on.
Would you want to do it maybe like time it around RTX Austin or something?
Probably, yeah. We'll probably give it a few months, but really, right now is about showing it. I mean, this is a one-of-a-kind, unique piece that literally that's the only one that exists on the planet. Yep. And so, if you are a Hello Kitty fan, it's official. I mean, yeah. So I mean, that is literally it. So if you know anyone who's into Hello Kitty, or you know anyone who's into collecting unique one-off things, Borderlands or Hello Kitty,
yeah, even if you like Borderlands,
it's doubly official.
Yeah.
you know.
So but anyway, so yeah, we'll kind of show that around, kind of spread the word a little bit more, and then we'll probably have an auction maybe around RTX. Maybe we'll push it closer to November towards Extra Life, but we'll figure it out, and we'll make sure to raise a lot of money for this thing.
That's
so
awesome, man.
So thank you, Dave, for giving it to us.
Oh, and thank you for thinking of it. I appreciate that.
Cool.
Thank you.
No problem.
To tie a couple stories together here. Bye, Jack. Love you. Tie a couple stories together here. Do you remember, Gus, that we were at the first ever Child's Play charity auction? And it was a big deal. They'd never done anything like this before, the Penny Arcade guys, and they were taking the step to do it. And then they got up, and Gabe and Tycho are great on stage, but they play off each other amazingly well. If you've never seen them do like their Q&A sessions at PAX, you should absolutely check it out. But when they came to do the auction, everyone in the crowd had never been to it before, so they started auctioning off the first thing, and the room was kind of dead silent. Like, anybody, it's kind of like when you ask, after a presentation, does anybody have questions? And there's that big lull, and nobody was saying anything. And Gus, you've hated this over the years, but to me, if there's a dead silence for 1 second, it feels like an hour to me, and I will immediately fill it in. So I just bid on this thing, and I won it, and I got it, and it was this MMO called World of Warcraft that was just about to come out. And it was signed by the whole dev team. And my brother was excited about the game. I got it for $350.
Something like that.
And then it came with a 3-year subscription. It was a collector's edition signed by the entire dev team. I gave it to my brother. He sold it 4 years later, he sold it on eBay for $1,500.
You're shitting
The
me.
box.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Wow.
After
I can
his
get you another one if you want.
No, I know,
I
right?
remember at the time you were like, well, it's a 3-year subscription at
Yeah.
$15 a month. Like it pays for itself, right? Like
Right.
You're like rationalizing it, like it's fine. It's like you bought it for less than what it cost.
Well, I did. I bought it for less than what it cost. Now, if you go to one of those Child's Play auctions, stuff goes
amazing.
crazy because people are just using it as an excuse to give money
I
to
did,
the
I
charity.
did that at one of the Child's Play auctions. I wanted to bid on something, so I bid on a Halo 4 Xbox that was signed by some people, and I think it was a few hundred, like 400 maybe.
Yeah.
But it came with like 10 Xbox Live year things with it.
Yeah.
So it was like, I think I made money on it.
Yeah,
almost.
you sure did. Wow.
I didn't even know that was a part of it.
Which is great because the company donates that stuff anyway. So
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like basically free money for the charity. Everybody wins, kind of a situation.
I did a similar thing where they were auctioning off like Adobe Master Collection, and I knew at the time Jordan Swears was using like an old version of Flash to make animated adventures. Like, oh, like this auction's going for less than what Master Collection actually costs. Like, I can buy this, win it, and then give it to Jordan so he can make animated adventures.
And that would
with
make
it.
you all the money.
Good business decision. Yeah, but I actually called them because I said, hey, my brother is going to sell this. He's going to sell it on eBay, but it's literally the first item ever sold at the first ever Child's Play auction. Do you guys want it back for like your records or whatever? And I think Robert Coon was like, Robert Coon goes, what's wrong with you? No. He goes, let your brother sell it. Get out of here. What's wrong with you?
Are you the one who bid on it?
The closest thing I can find here on eBay is a signed vanilla World of Warcraft Collector's Edition and Burning Crusade Collector's Edition.
Yeah.
$4,000.
Get out of here.
Wow.
He sold too soon.
For $4,000, I can get you a night with Rob Pardo. How about that?
Man, that's the big deal too. Is I don't think he'd use the code to get the pet, which was a Diablo demon with the collector's edition.
I think you had an option with the Collector's Edition. I think it was either a Diablo demon or a little Zergling from StarCraft.
Okay.
I think when you redeem the code, you could pick one of those two.
Yeah.
I could be wrong. It's been a few years since that game came out.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Did World of Warcraft ever descend down the pay for cosmetic stuff, or was that
No.
that was League of Legends that really made that the big deal? Was the paying for cosmetics, or is it like Counter-Strike?
I mean, League of Legends was first.
Was it first?
Yeah.
Were they?
I think League came out before Counter-Strike. Oh, I'm talking about Counter-Strike Go. Because I associate the cosmetic with CSGO.
Oh, so
Oh, yeah,
Counter-Strike
okay.
didn't exist before Go for you.
For the cosmetics. You don't pay for cosmetics in Source or 1.6.
Fair enough.
But I've been having an amazing experience with the Sea of Thieves closed beta, which I have just absolutely loved. I got 2 kids, so it's perfect. It's me and Ashley and the 2 boys, and
Do
we
you
just
talk
grew up.
exclusively like pirates the whole
Yarr!
time? Like Achievement Hunter does?
A little bit. Teddy's pirate voice is pretty funny.
God, Michael, I don't think it's come out yet. Michael has just incredible moments as a pirate.
Does he?
The way he can just spew paragraphs of nonsense, and somehow it rhymes most of the time as well. It's amazing.
Michael has an ability to talk. I don't know if you ever noticed that.
Yeah. That whole pause thing that I say I hate never happens around Michael, ever. Ever.
No, I wonder
Usually
if
it's like you
Michael
watch
knows-
him until he takes a breath and then, all right, here we go.
Has Michael ever heard silence, do you think?
His parents probably haven't.
Yeah, but so people are pointing out on the chat that World of Warcraft does have cosmetic mounts that you can pay for.
It does?
I was given a bunch of chicken mounts once by Blizzard to give away at our Christmas party.
Oh, yeah? Did you give him away?
Yeah.
Or just like
No,
hoard
no. Well, one, I refused to play World of Warcraft only because my second child had already been born, and I was a huge City of Heroes freak.
Oh, were you really?
Yeah, which was made here in the Austin area.
Our very first live action piece that we ever did as a company was a City of Heroes
No shit.
short. Yeah, it was Captain Dynamic, right? Yeah.
Dynamic.
I obsessed over that game so much. I was the most powerful hero in the shard that I played on. For even after 6 months after I quit, I went and logged back in, and I was still ranked number 1. The developer Jack Emmert, who designed the game, was like, "Hey, you should be a controller, gravity kinetic controller. You'll be really weak. You'll have a glass jaw in the beginning, but in the end, you'll be the most powerful thing." And he was right. And I did the math and spreadsheets. I hammeoed myself out. It was crazy.
I was like that with Viva Pinata.
And I lost, oh my God. And I lost so many hours, and then you could talk to an NPC, and depending on the first letter of their name, it could give you different information. It could tell you like how many hours you played in the game. and I've never tell this to anybody else, but I know how many hours I played, and I was embarrassed to myself to spend so much time. And then my second child was born. I swore off MMOs. And then Star Wars: The Old Republic came out. And
also developed here in Austin.
I know, and I was pretty pissed off about that coming out too. So.
I deliberately, whenever there's a big, especially like Bethesda games, I know I'm going to lose a lot of time in them, like Skyrim, Fallout, and stuff. I deliberately leave the game on and walk away from it, just so I don't ever truly know how many hours I've wasted.
Oh, good call. I'm like that with PUBG.
My Skyrim is over 1,000 hours, but
I'm like that with PUBG.
I like that. A way to like just to fool yourself a little bit. Yeah.
I've got to know.
Wonderful.
Like,
I never want to know.
If there's games that keep it going during the pause menu and I have to step away, like I'll quit the game and go back to the title screen because I want it to be like as accurate of a counter as I can get. Like I want to know how much I played this game. Like it's just like another milestone.
There was Gavin's one is Halo 2. How many matches of Halo 2 did you play on multiplayer?
I think it's 4,500.
4,500 is crazy.
Which was a lot. I mean, each game's like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
At least.
It was a crazy amount. And then we looked at our stats that one time, which thankfully Bungie.net had at that point, where you go look at all your stats. And I had this crazy thing where we went back and looked at Halo 2. And I said, there's no way I have even close to that. I sure didn't. I had like 1,500 matches or something. And then I looked at my kill-death ratio. And my kill-death ratio across all my games was 25,000 kills, 25,010 deaths. I was like 10 off from a perfect 1-to-1.
That means you're almost completely net useless in every game.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
You were barely a liability.
After 25,000, it's 25,00010.
Yeah.
It's 50,010 total kill deaths, right?
I'm
and
like
split down the middle,
just
but
underwater, 10. Just like my nose out of the water there.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, it was crazy to be that close.
You're even Steven.
Yeah,
that's who you are.
Stats, in Guitar Hero 2, I might have told this before on the podcast. You get really high scores on Guitar Hero. You can get like 380,000 or something, and sometimes it's like you hold a note for a fraction of a second, you get like 15 more points. But I was looking up for some reason. I was looking up a song where I was in the leaderboards. And Jason Saldana, voice of Tucker, we were next to each other in the world leaderboards at like, I might have had like 180,564 and he had 180,563. We were just like, I was like, if we set out to do that, we never could have done that.
That's amazing.
But our gamer tags were, I actually thought I was just looking at the friend leaderboards, but it was the world leaderboard. I was
Holy shit.
our gamer tags are just
You knew the
touching
guy
each
you
other.
were right next to.
Yeah,
That's
we were
amazing.
both there in the room checking it for some reason, and it was crazy. One of the craziest coincidences of my life, but it's like very specific to if you play Guitar Hero that you wouldn't really relate to it in any way.
I was trying to recount some of the crazy coincidences that you and I have had, and we got to go back and capture some of this. We went through a period where you and I had just insane amount of coincidences.
Yeah, where we thought we were living in a simulation.
Yeah.
Plugged into the same one.
We thought we were in a coma.
I've had moments like that. That's odd. Yeah.
There was some really weird stuff that
They've
we ran
patched
into.
the simulation. There's like too many coincidences going on.
Have you ever caused the death of a celebrity by just thinking about it?
Achievement Hunter.
Achievement Hunter does it.
I've caused twice. Two of them.
Who
Bobby Hebb. And
Arguably not. Who's Bobby Hebb?
he sang a song called Sunny. Sunny.
Oh, okay.
Yesterday my life was full of. Anyway. And I was like, hey, is Bobby Hebb dead? I think he's dead. No, I don't know. I'm going to look it up. And right at that moment, he died.
Oh, wow.
And the same thing happened with Ray Harryhausen. And with Ray Harryhausen, I got a lot of witnesses, 2K Games, NVIDIA, and folks at Gearbox. And we were talking about Ray Harryhausen. I was like, hey, is Ray Harryhausen dead? They're like, nah, he's not dead. Everybody looked it up. At that moment, he died. He was in like, literally the next morning, everybody sending me emails like, oh my fucking God, man. He fucking killed Ray Harryhausen.
Yeah,
We
Achievement
did
Hunter's up to
that
like 5 now?
Yeah, we did that with Tom Clancy. We were playing Rainbow Six.
Wait, you killed Tom Clancy?
Yeah, it was unfortunate.
Yeah.
Rainbow Six Vegas, we just started getting back into it, even though it was like it'd been out for like 6 years at the time. And we're like, is Tom Clancy alive? And the day that video came out, he died.
Yeah.
It's the same shit. Oh my God.
Yeah. So we didn't kill him
So
that
you're
day.
the reason we don't get Red October 2.
Yeah.
Don't blame Jeff. I think it was Jeff who mentioned it.
Fuck.
You guys have a bad history of that. But I had reactions.
You did this too.
Well, we didn't want to, but
I have reactions like you do. Like, I have been lost in some games. I arguably got pretty lost in PUBG. Not nearly as much as I did when I was in.
I love that game.
When I had spare time in college and stuff. I could get lost in Sea of Thieves, though. I'll play whenever my kids want to play, essentially. But I do control myself. Like, I do see things and go, oh, I know exactly where this is going. I'm not touching this. Like, I never got super into WoW because I knew I would get
game.
sucked in. He got sucked in.
I had spreadsheets too, like trying to figure out the perfect rotation, like with the cooldown
Oh, dude, I
here
figured
and
them
like
out.
the pause for the animation to watch the for your be able to click the button again. It's like, what kind of delay? Yeah, that was crazy.
I did that with
Bunch of useless
Overwatch.
knowledge now, though, isn't it?
Fucking. If you sat me down, I'd be like, I don't remember. I don't know. Yeah, I couldn't.
Not
do it.
anymore, but at the time you had had it down.
All of this
You
is
knew
laid
exactly-
out like this for a reason. It's like discovering another person's
So
desk.
you felt like you're God at that moment,
Right.
right? I mean, that's what it is about these MMOs.
Make one of those
I mean,
spreadsheets for life.
I was a God in City of Heroes, and people would worship me. They would bow down. They had that worship animation and stuff like that, and it was crazy. And what's nuts is you start to identify as your avatar, as your character, right? And Gus, you know what I'm talking about. If you were that obsessed with it, you know what I'm saying. Like you start to think like, oh, this is who I am, as opposed to I'm Gus Sorolla. I'm like, I don't know what your character name. Mine was Blue Lucifer in City of Heroes.
Mine was an anagram of Sorolla.
Okay, all right. So I'm Blue Lucifer, right? And you start to think like this, and it changes your mindset, and it's a sickness, and it's weird, and it's great and wonderful, and it's terrible all at the same time. I don't know. That's just
Yeah, I played one match of Overwatch. I played as Reaper. Got to the end of it, saw the play of the game or whatever, and I was like, then it was ready for the next match. And I was like, I see exactly where this is going, and I just put it, and then never played again. Never played again.
The thing with Overwatch is it's amazing how little downtime there is between matches. There's just enough time for you to be like, oh, there's this. Like you look at the end of game screens, you watch the play of the game.
World War
and then
II
you're
is like that. Call of Duty World War II.
Yeah, and it's like, oh,
very quick.
The next game's starting. I may as well play it.
Yeah.
It's just like 3 seconds
that's
from
the
now.
sign of a great game. It's when it's short enough that you feel like, oh, I can play another one and I'm not going to ruin any sleep time or family time or anything like that. But then you end up spending 6 hours playing that because it's just one more. It's like a potato chip, right?
Can I pitch an idea at you to talk about downtime between matches?
If I can hear Gavin's pirate voice from Sea of Thieves.
Why do you want to hear that?
Well, he said Sea of Thieves, and I thought you mentioned your pirate voice earlier.
First of all, you already have a pirate voice.
No.
No,
You can already have a. Oh my god.
fucking lying.
I'm from the pirate lands.
But PUBG, you like it, I like
Yeah.
it. I think that the parachuting part is a lot of unnecessary downtime.
There's a lot of between that and the starting island and all of that shit. Yeah.
Would you play a match where you start, you just spawn somewhere on the island by yourself?
I would rather spawn on the plane, and the plane's going.
Spawn on the plane. Okay, I get it.
And it's like, then you better pick it. You better pick your spot.
Well, I think, well, you have to do that anyway. I mean, you're saying you would take out the island,
Right, yeah,
the
just-
spawn island part.
Well, I mean, they've even changed that already. Have you played since then?
Yeah, that's what made me think of it. They just now spread out how people spawn on the spawn island because apparently it was Xbox One was having trouble keeping up with all those people spawning in one place at one time.
Yeah.
But then I thought, well, I don't even have the plane part and the parachuting part. Just spawn in the game.
No, I mean that's part of the strategy of the game is picking where you're gonna land, and watching the other players
when the
parachute
plane
down.
crosses over.
Right,
Yeah.
like knowing the path of the plane and keeping that in mind throughout the whole match. Like that's very important information.
I did not consider that, and I agree with you.
Yeah.
So I will retract my pitch.
Do you feel pretty stupid after that interaction?
It's all learning. I'm not afraid to fail.
That's the secret to success. Phil,
I'm a successful
Phil
guy who
often-
bitches about PUBG.
Phil fast and Phil cheat, yeah.
Let me read this thing here. I want to remind everyone this episode of Receipts Podcast is also brought to you by ProFlowers. Have you ever tried to impress your Valentine with the perfect gift and failed miserably? I'm sure you don't want to make that mistake again, guys. ProFlowers and Sherry's Berries have teamed up to help you really impress your Valentine this year with their perfectly paired collection. Go ahead and think inside the box this Valentine's Day. This really is a one-of-a-kind gift. Your flowers and dipped strawberries will arrive together in a beautifully, specially designed box that will keep your flowers fresh and your berries cold, guaranteed. Right now, our listeners can save 20% on any one of their perfectly paired combinations or any other gift over $29 with promo code TEETH. You pick the delivery date, and it's guaranteed. Customer satisfaction is always number one, or your money back. Do we get strawberries? I thought I saw Jess with strawberries here earlier. There's only one way to get 20% off a perfectly paired gift over $29 featuring beautiful blooms from ProFlowers and freshly dipped strawberries from Sherry's Berries. Visit proflowers.com today. Enter code TEETH at checkout. That's proflowers.com, code TEETH. Big thank you to ProFlowers and Sherry's Berries for your beautiful flowers and your delicious berries.
Proflowers.com.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I've been ordering like for Mother's Day, for Valentine's Day, like
When you don't
for
know what
years.
to get,
And
proflowers.com.
Or just
it shows up great, or whenever.
Do it randomly.
Right?
Exactly.
Yeah, always great looking flowers. We had some over here in the No office, and I was doing a newsreader earlier, and I walked by them, like just even getting close to them, it's like, wow, those smell really good.
I never realized before using ProFlowers how many flowers will kill a cat.
Okay.
Like how many you have to
That
stuff
flowers
down their
are
throat?
toxic for a cat?
Yeah, like the pollen, like most of the lilies. Because I kept ordering flowers, and then Meg would be like, okay, I can't have these because the cat will die. Roses are safe, though.
What's the
You
cat
have
gonna die?
I don't know, like a bunch of different flowers can kill cats.
Yeah, so you have to order cat-safe flowers?
If that's
Yeah.
the case, cats. I mean,
Okay.
That's like an evolution thing.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, but apparently
It's weird that cats that roam outside are allergic to plants, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
like
but are they
who protected cats from flowers earlier before humans domesticated them?
But I mean, would a cat ever find like a stargazer lily?
First of all, is your
Once.
cat like putting out certain like propaganda into your house, like little pamphlets and things like this? Is like don't like these kind of flowers, or
I don't know. I just would feel so bad.
Here's
do you
what
have
you
like
do.
cat-safe flowers that you can order or whatever?
I would love a cat safe option on the website.
This is a great
Most ridiculous thing
This
ever.
is a great thing. You have a good opportunity here. Greet Meg at the door when she comes back from like a trip or something like that.
Yeah.
Greet at the door, have a bunch of flowers. Just a card says, "Sorry, I killed the cats." It all works out.
I'm looking here. All right.
So then 25 years of marriage, though, by the way, ordering flowers just
do it.
because
do it.
gets you in trouble.
What?
you got-
oh,
no, no, no,
yeah, because you're assuming. Yeah, I got
Yeah. So you gotta
Made
you
a
gotta-
mistake or been bad or
yeah, there's something. So if you're gonna do it randomly, you gotta just have it sent at random times. I wish there was a random function, like just to pick a date.
Random and cat safe.
3 times
I
throughout
like
the year.
the idea of like subscribing to like 3 bouquets a year and you don't know when they're going to
You don't
show
know
up.
when they're gonna show up, right?
So occasionally people just drop little bombs. Like with David Eddings talking about this, maybe think about this with Ashley. Why don't you get up here? I want to talk to you about the bomb you dropped on me, Maddie. But I was talking with Ashley about the flamethrower today.
Oh.
Arguably a frivolous, very expensive purchase, right?
Not
Wait,
arguably.
hold on.
It is
Not-
an
not
expensive, frivolous purchase.
Not frivolous.
$500, right?
There's
$500
lots of
No
first of all,
arguing.
not frivolous nor really expensive
It-
for a
it-
man like you.
In hindsight, all three of us, because Michael bought one as well, from what I understand.
Michael Jones?
Yeah. We could all just have gone over to Marcus and he probably would have made us.
But it wouldn't say the boring company on it.
Oh, shut up. Get
Why
the
do you
hat,
want
you
that?
fuck.
It looks like a super soaker. It's like fun. It's like, is it going to shoot water? Is it going to shoot fire? You don't know.
So I
It's
made
boring,
a little
though.
cheeky joke to Ashley when I saw her. I was getting a Sea of Thieves closed beta code for somebody else at the company. She had an extra one, so I was going to do a nice thing for somebody else. And then I jokingly said to her, I was like, hey, sorry I made a purchase like a flamethrower without talking to you first. And she's typing at her desk and she just looks up at me like this and she goes, "You didn't talk to me about the bus first." And, and I was like, and then there was this dead silence. We're in her office with everybody who works for her. I was like, was that? Oh no, I didn't even realize that was a thing. And so now I'm in trouble.
You
There's
didn't have
lots
that-
of things that you don't realize. are a
Yeah.
thing. Yeah.
How can you not have that conversation about a bus?
It was, she knew I was in the works. It was the plan.
Welcome to relationships.
Yeah. I
A
don't
bus?
know. Yeah.
Huge. Literally, physically huge.
It is huge. And I got in trouble. Let me deflect now and introduce somebody.
Deflect? Are you going to deflect?
I said deflect. Did I say deflect?
You did say deflect.
Let me deflect. And
then
You're like Shakespeare. You're inventing words over here.
she's from Australia. She can't even speak English anyway. So this is Maddie. Say hello, Maddie.
Hello.
Maddie is one of our interns in the live action department.
How are
Hi, Maddie.
you've been an intern for a long time?
Yeah.
How does that work?
It's now there's like it's way more fun because there's other people to hang out with. Whereas last semester it was
That's what
like,
we want to hear.
Wait, how long have you been an intern?
I was the intern last semester as well. So I was but by myself, so it was just me. So it was a little bit lonely. But
Yeah,
now I have so many more other interns to hang out with.
I met Maddie on a live action shoot, and that's why I know. It's like,
Yeah.
you've been here. You've been here a little while.
Been here a while. I've seen some things. Shows get cancelled. Yeah.
You have seen that.
Yeah.
We worked on a shoot that got canceled.
Oh, right.
I felt so bad for you.
We can
that
probably talk
day.
about that, right? Can we now?
Yeah, why not?
You released photos from it.
I showed a photo.
We
yeah.
did.
We did a shoot that was Gus dressed as the Grinch, and it was a Christmas thing. And then halfway through it, Legal was like, "No, don't do this."
Yeah. Looks too
apparently-
realistic.
It looked realistic, and it was also had a musical component that used a very similar sounding song.
Can you just call it something different?
I think
The grunch?
it's the music and the costume were like too close.
Legal always says no to everything. That's their job. They just know you can't do this. We'll get sued, and it'll be. Which you think would justify their job getting sued? But
Man, they don't want to work though, right?
Generally,
Like nobody
you get
wants
a-
to like, oh shit, now I got.
Generally, you get a cease and desist before you get sued. Just saying.
yeah.
Yeah.
And by the way, I also point out,
Worth
David
a
Eddings,
try.
this was a holiday short for our store. If the Dr. Seuss estate had taken down our short, that would have been more publicity than the video probably would have generated for this thing. So
Because then the Grinch would have killed our Christmas.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that would have been perfect.
We should have let that
That
happen.
would've been
perfect.
That's perfect.
I felt so bad though because Gus was in makeup
you
and
feel
hair
bad?
for like the whole day. We had everyone come out to the house. I think we'd sent everyone home. We'd gotten every shot except for Gus's shots, and we were like 80% done with like principal photography.
I done like sneaking around and like stuff like that.
and
I
then it
love
was
the
like,
idea of you getting like in full costume and makeup, like 6 hours long, just for shows that get canceled right as soon as you just like.
Yeah, I was
shit
not happy. I was that might be the most
Did you get stroppy?
diva-ish I've been on a shoot.
What was your extra? All right, I'll
'Cause for a
be,
while
I'll be
they're
the
like, hey, we don't know if we can do this. It's too close to the real thing. We may have you redo your makeup and do something that looks less realistic. And I was like, I sat in makeup for 3 hours for this. Like, I'm not redoing this.
whoa,
I said, you're not gonna redo this, and
Fix it in post.
and I'm not gonna reshoot everything that we already shot.
Listen to you.
Wow. So were you more of the Chuck Jones Grinch or were you more of the Jim Carrey
Jim
Grinch?
Carrey Grinch.
Okay. All right.
And
you
and then
went that way.
There were some very tense conversations, and it was all right, everybody, let's go home.
Yeah. Unfortunately, Blaine, who even though he should have the highest confidence levels of anyone at the company because of his physical fitness and just his position in life,
He's a dreamboat.
unfortunately, he has very little confidence. He's the only person I know that's had 2 shoots canceled in the middle of the shoot. That was one. And then we did another one a couple years ago where 3/4 of the way through the day, the lead actor goes, you know what? I don't like this material. And said, I'm leaving.
Oh,
And
right. I forgot about
they
that.
even got his agent on the phone. The agent's like, if you walk off this set, allegedly, this is what I heard was said, if you walk off the set, I'll stop representing you. And the guy was like, I'm out of here. Bye. So I worked in that one. You worked on that one, Cuddy? Good,
So
worked
do
on
we
that one.
then, like, because that would cost us a load of money. Is that like an insurance claim?
We talked about suing the guy for a little bit, just out of like, because we'd never had anything like that, but we're not going to sue a dude. I mean, it's
Yeah,
like,
I mean, he would have, there's no way he could recoup. There's no way he could pay for that shoot.
Certainly won't work with him again. I don't know that we can't not pay him.
No,
I mean,
you couldn't sue him for enough
If you
to pay
sued
for
him
this.
for all the time and money lost, I doubt one person could afford that.
I doubt that.
How
shoot was very
bad? How
expensive.
bad was this script that he just decided to walk
It was
off?
fine.
Either way, it was in the script. Either way, it was in the script. All right. Well, Maddie, I have to say that as an intern, one of the things that we offer that's of value to our interns is they learn valuable business and professional procedures.
what are you about to
Oh my
what
God.
Are you doing?
I'm trying to figure out how to get to this
sounds
point.
like such
I
BS.
can tell it's not working.
We are supposed to teach you about how to operate properly in a professional business environment. That's one of the things that we're trying to teach our
Did you
interns.
goof?
She goofed a little bit. Let me tell you something.
You done goof?
You stop me when the story sounds weird. So Maddie,
will never be the same.
Maddie was going to come and sit in on the podcast. I was on a shoot for Marshall's got a new show, a new live action show that Marshall's working on. I have a part in it, and I was on set. Maddie, working in the live action department, was there as an intern, but she was coming over to the podcast as well. And I said I had to race to get out of there because we shoot the podcast at 5:00.
I raced to get away from Marshall too.
Yeah, I know. It was like 4:15. We're getting to the end of the day, and I'm like, hey, I really gotta make sure I'm winding down here to get out of here. And I saw Maddie. I go, hey, Maddie. I said, you're coming to the podcast, right? And she said, yes. And I said, okay, do you need a ride? I don't know what your situation is. Do you have a car? She goes, yeah, I have a car.
No, Jessica said, yeah, she's got a car.
Oh, I could have sworn you said it. Okay, we're in the room. Yeah, Maddie's got a car. So we wrap. I get out of there. I go out to my car. Maddie comes hauling out, running. And she's like, wait. And I go, what? And she goes, I need a ride. And I said, oh, I'm sorry. I thought I wasn't leaving you.
Getting a little weird.
I thought you had a car. And she goes, oh, no. On the application, one of the requirements for the job as intern is that you have to have a car. So I just told them that I do, but I don't have a car. Okay, I'll get a ride with you. And she hops in my car. I'm
You
like,
do know who that is, right? Why would you tell him that?
why won't he tell me that?
Because you're not like my boss. Like,
You're only her boss's boss.
You're too high up the hierarchy.
It's like if you're stealing office supplies, you can tell the CEO. What's he gonna do? He's not my boss.
He wasn't buying the paper clips.
He's like, way to show initiative. But it is one of those things where it's like, is obviously dirty little liar, but is this initiative? Like she went out of her way. Like one of the things I found out she had to do, Gavin, was pick you up to go somewhere because you don't
No.
drive. Another irresponsible foreigner over here.
Yeah.
And that she had to get you a lift instead and kind of fool you into taking a
no,
lift.
I got someone else to go and get you instead.
Yeah. I mean, I don't really pay attention to who it is.
Not drive in Texas.
I knew you wouldn't care, but also I would like to clear my name.
Go ahead.
So originally,
Liar, pants
I was
apart.
in the post-production department, and so I was just editing. I didn't need a car. It wasn't on the application when I applied online. So I was in the clear. I didn't need a car. It was fine. And then slowly I started doing more and more production stuff because they didn't have an intern. I was all alone by myself. And then Will was just having me do more and more stuff. And then one day it was like, okay, next semester, want to come back? I was like, yes. And he's like, you got a car, right? And I was like, yeah. And I didn't write anything on paper. I just kind of.
Oh, so a lie doesn't count if you say it. It only counts if you write it.
I was worried he'd be like, well, no, you can't, like, we need someone to.
Well, that's exactly what he would have said.
So wait, what do you do if
By the way,
it's like,
she's actually right. I'm at the level where I think it's funny. I think it's funny.
What if Will's like go and pick up a bunch of shit from a bunch of different places?
I Uber everywhere. I calculated how much I spent last semester, and it was pretty bad.
Oh my God, you're paying to work here?
How much was it for Uber?
I don't want to say.
Say it.
No, because what if I get in
above
trouble?
500?
Gus, she's paying for education. She gets professional business procedure
Was
education.
it more than $500?
Oh yeah.
More than $800? More than $1,200?
Get a car! Get a
Oh,
car!
my
It's
dad was
economics.
coming in spring break, and we're gonna get a car.
Oh, so what is the decision for not having a car? Because I don't have
Yeah,
one.
because I'm
Oh,
foreign
who's
and
asking
I'm
that question?
because I'm foreign and I'm worried that I'll like hit someone and like get deported
Oh,
or
high
something.
five! Yes,
Yeah.
That makes sense. Actually, a
valid
little bit.
reason.
And I had an Australian driver's license that was valid. So if I did need to drive the pickup truck, I could. Like if they
Right.
needed me to do something.
Are you authorized to drive the truck?
Well, I'm not an employee, so I
Oh,
can't
you
yet.
can't.
But I always said if they needed me like desperately, I like could. But now,
For
then we can
all
break
the
the
insurance agents watching, we do not allow
no, I've
interns
never.
to drive the truck. It is
I've
only
never
authorized
driven on
employees.
this
Have
side
you
of the
ever
road.
driven on the right-hand side?
No, I've never.
I didn't think so.
No.
You,
But-
you have a hard time crossing the streets too, don't you?
I'm always like,
yeah, you look
which
the
way?
wrong way. I know. Yeah.
And it was
you get hit easy.
like the other day we were filming something here in the parking lot, and like my license is now expired, like I can't drive here at all. And so Drew, we were filming something. We needed cars to be lined up, and Drew was like, "Hey, Maddie, can you go ask people if you can move their cars just like here so we can use them in the shot?" And I was like, okay. And so I like went and asked the other intern. I was like, listen, like you gotta go, you gotta move them. I can't do it.
She's smart. She delegates.
Okay.
She knows how to.
Well,
she
technically, you could
takes
probably
charge. She delegates.
just push them.
She goes to Home Depot to pick up like hardware materials
Yeah.
for live action, and then gets a lift and then loads lumber.
Also, the Home Depot's like 90 seconds down the road
Yeah.
from here. It's like, I need it
short
right
trip.
there so I can put lumber in your car and then take it 90 seconds back.
And then they send me to HEB to get crafty, and they'll be like, you need 10 cases of water, 3 cases of Coke, 3 cases of like Sprite. And it's like, the Uber pulls up, and I'm like, hi, please don't give me a bad rating. We're
Oh,
going next door.
God.
Wow.
You should at least walk there
I'm
and then
just
call
like-
the Uber once you get there.
I'm just like worried
You
that
need to
now,
make a friend who has a car.
Jessica's going to see this, or like Blaine or Javier.
Well,
and they're
it's
gonna
too
be-
late now.
So wait, they still don't know.
No, I think
You're
Will-
approved.
They know now.
You're approved. I don't know what power my title has, but you're approved. That's it.
Okay.
You have seal of approval. You don't need
I'm
a
totally
car.
fine continuing to Uber everywhere.
Well, you're gonna have to.
That's a song.
Do you use Uber and not Lyft?
Yeah,
Moneybags?
I use Uber because it has the parent. Like I can, do you know what I mean? Like I can, like I have a family account, and so it's like
So you made
Oh
your
my
parents
God,
pay
any
for
other
all your
lies
Ubers?
here?
Oh my God. My parents pay for her
Charging your
work here.
parents to work.
That's amazing.
So, anything else you want to clear the air on right now with the
I
confessions?
don't think I've done.
Are you
Did you lie on
actually
your college
22?
entrance?
I'm 21.
You're 21?
Application
You sure? Actually 21? You're not like two 10-year-olds stacked on
No.
top of each other? Or anything
I
like
applied
that?
to graduate
In a trench
today.
coat? Okay. All right. Good.
So.
Bojack.
But yeah,
Horseman.
that's it.
That's it?
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you, Maddie.
No worries.
It was great
Wow.
to work with you for the short amount of time.
I think Will's just gonna kick me to the curb now. It's fine.
Yeah, when Will finds out, you're kind of owned.
Well, at least you'll have a ride.
Oh, man.
I think that's some good initiative. That's pretty impressive to me, actually.
Patrick was saying that now we should have all of our interns submit photos of themselves with their car whenever they apply. Look, I have the keys. I can drive it. Next what we'll have like interviews where the intern has to drive, and then you ride.
We should
passenger.
have like an intern, like road course, like obstacle course, whatever. They have these Canada's worst drivers. Have you ever seen this? My
No.
son's obsessed with this. Canada's worst drivers. And it's this reality show where they really have the shittiest drivers of the world. And I swear to God, it's on
Why don't I
Netflix.
watch that show? I live in Austin. Like, I live that every fucking
You get
day.
so mad driving. You're always
It's
like,
ridiculous.
why don't you drive?
And some of these people, yeah.
Play a
go
game.
ahead.
Get in your car in Austin, go somewhere, and see if you can go somewhere without running into somebody who clearly has no clue what they're fucking doing.
That's me.
Every
I'm
trip.
brand new here. I'm the guy that doesn't know what the
You're
fuck
gonna
I'm
hear a
doing.
horn. If you get in your car, someone's honking at someone. You're gonna hear horns. Like
Hey,
for nothing. Like I feel like everyone's job when you get to a green light, it's like the first person has to pull out their phone and look at it. The second person has to watch the light to honk at the first person when it's time to go. It's like, and then if I'm the third person and I'm honking, I'm pissed off. It's like the second guy's not doing his fucking job.
They should, oh, you know what I found out in Austin? The cameras that are on all the traffic lights are not red light cameras.
There's a few, but most of them aren't.
It's so they don't have to put metal sensors in the pavement. They're just optical now.
For what?
For like seeing if there's cars at the intersection waiting to go.
Oh, so they control the lights.
And yeah, it's for traffic control and for identifying emergency vehicles. Totally thought they were red light cameras the entire time. I don't even know if we have those in Texas.
There's a few red
Are
light
those the
cameras
kind that
in
you can
Austin.
like flash your brights and you can get a green light or whatever?
Yeah, that's the old school way of doing it. Yeah,
I like
or
those.
just be like a police officer. You ever at an intersection with a police officer at like 2 a.m. or 3 a.m, and there's nobody else around? Cop hits his lights and goes through the red and then just turns it back off. And you're like, well, I want to do that.
Yeah. Where are you going?
You know
If I did that, you know, he'd pull me right over, right?
Yeah, you
Behind
just
him.
have to wait for them to leave a little bit. That's all you have to do. Like, just go like 50 yards and then you can do the same thing. I do that at Escarpment and Slaughters. The worst, like at 2 a.m. when the bars are closed and you got to turn left on Escarpment or whatever. Or
I know exactly where you're talking about. Yeah.
Circle C, whatever.
Yep.
And that light just stays that way forever. It stays red.
I
And
used to
there's
live there.
nobody coming. And it's just red at the left turn. There's just nothing happening
Why-
at
does
all.
that- does that
And
make
it
you-
goes for like 30 minutes or it's over 11:10, that's for sure. And it's just ridiculous. And
How
you
long
want
do
to
you
go.
wait at a red light before you realize it's broken? And
I don't
I get
really
infuriated
wait.
after a while. I get
If it's nighttime.
Yeah,
I'll
I feel like
and there's nobody there.
driving-
I feel insulted when there's nobody at the intersection and I'm just sitting at the red light, and it's every other direction pretty much has a green light.
It's
except for me.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
Do you think anyone, because a lot of people get frustrated at other drivers on the road. I've seen you do it every time I've been in your car. Has anyone ever been like, man, this guy in front's a great driver?
I've done that.
What?
I've seen good drivers and be like, oh wow, that person really knows what they're doing.
You're the one.
How do you
That's
differentiate
expected.
good drivers?
You can see like proper use of turn signals, like maintaining
Oh,
safe space.
yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
there's, like
course you've seen this.
a good speed. I'm like, okay, like this is someone I'm comfortable being around this person. Like that's a good driver.
You don't mind like pacing behind them,
right?
right?
It's like,
Yeah.
I'm going to associate with this guy. Like I'm going to be close to this person because we're not going to get into a wreck together. I
I'm
know what
blown
this person's
away
doing.
by the fact that you've noticed a good driver.
I know good drivers. When it doesn't happen often in Austin, it'll happen every couple of days. I'll be like, that person knows what they're doing.
Right on, man. Right
You'll
on.
see 'em.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that you even notice.
And it makes me want, like, I wish there were
You wanna
different kinds
commend
of
people.
horns, like
You
different
wanna-
honks you
I do
could
too.
do.
Like
Like a thumbs up,
honk.
like, hey, that was good driving. yeah.
Right.
Or it's like, also like I talked about, like the green light honk, like a, come on, what the fuck?
Meg won't honk anyone. And what is the horn for? It's for like, hey,
You know.
like pay attention to
If
something.
you're in India, it's to indicate that your car is on.
Yeah,
That
it's like,
is-
I'm driving. I'm continuing to be driving.
We were
I'm
in
still
India
driving
for that doc, honking constantly.
You can't lay on the horn. You gotta.
Yeah, it's like,
It's communication.
But the guy in front of us this morning had his indicator on the whole way. It was
That's
right.
blinker. For those of us in America,
Yeah,
that's blinker.
his turn signal or whatever. It was right, and he wasn't taking any rights. And I was like, "Why don't you blast him with the horn?" So he's like, "What am I doing wrong?" Oh, and she was like, "That's not what the horn's for." And I was like, "Oh, what's the horn for then? Like, go? Surely it's just, hey, something's different."
There's a period of time you have to give for somebody to even notice, and then you give like a really polite honk.
But
And
if you got
then there's the
honked-
danger honk. There's the danger honk, and then there's the asshole honk. Right? There's the polite honk, the danger honk, and the asshole honk.
Well, how are all these honks different?
Man, they're all
Oh, they're-
different.
yeah,
They're
they're different.
definitely
Yeah.
different. Yeah. And you know too when you're getting what honk you're getting.
But if you were driving along for ages and then you just got honked, would you be like, "What's up?"
Well, no,
Oh,
If I was doing anything just in my lane, I would wonder what was up. But if I was like drifting into a lane, or maybe I was texting, or maybe I was
feel
on
like-
the phone and texting.
I feel like if she
or maybe-
honked, he would have turned off the blinker.
do you know what I do?
Nah.
I honk on other people's behalf to get them in trouble. Like, say there's a left lane and there's a right lane, and I'm in the left lane here, and the right lane here, and then a guy comes in on a merging lane and cuts somebody off in front of him. I'm in the left lane, but I go, oh, you should honk.
my God.
Honk. And then it's like, I look at the guy. They start arguing.
do that?
Yeah, I look at that guy like, oh, I can't believe you honked at him over that. And also, you can just honk by putting your hand down below where anybody can see. You
Yeah,
just
yeah.
lay on the horn and just like look around. Like people
You
get
need to
confused.
do the practice of the knee honk, and you have your hands up
You're
here
like,
this.
who's honking?
It's like trying to find a sniper.
So why did you veer off the road? Well, I was trying to honk with my knee.
That's the worst when you hear a honk and you're like, was that at me? No, and then you're like, I was driving fine. What the fuck?
Then it wasn't you.
No,
You're
but
fine. You're fine.
I get paranoid.
You get paranoid about it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like I was fine. I wasn't doing anything. Or like you get the honk when the instant the light turns green. Like I'm a human. I'm not a robot.
And some places you'll get your ass kicked just for honking a horn.
Yeah, you probably got someone beat up.
Yeah, maybe. Who knows?
Who cares?
I feel like there should be multiple honk sounds. Like
Yeah,
happy
that's what I
honk.
said,
Happy
yeah.
honk. Yeah, I'm just saying I'm agreeing with you. I think that's a good idea.
Why not?
I agree with that. There should be a separate nice honk, or just say, hey, I'm not mad at you. Just like a kick.
Well, back in the 70s and the early 80s when I was growing up in Houston, Texas, I remember like sometimes you'd have the like cucaracha honk, right? That's never an
Dixie.
asshole honk. Like anybody honks that, but
that's
no
the
matter what
only-
you're doing, you're like, hey, that's pretty cool.
That's surely their only honk. Surely that's all they got.
That's all they had. That's it. That was to let you know to go at a green light. That was to let you know you're being a dickhead. The whole time it made you happy. That was the thing.
Feel like positive reinforcement. You're like, oh yeah. I love
If you could record one like vocal from yourself that would be your horn,
Hey.
The fun.
you'd be the fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What would yours be?
I wouldn't do me. I'd have you do your old message tone.
Mine would be like,
I just wouldn't do it because then I never use my stupid horn ever.
What you could do a pretty good yell though. You're like hey.
Yeah,
You could do one of them.
No, I would just do like literal one. I would just press and you hear honk. That's what I would do. That's what my aim tones were after a while when I was using AOL Instant Messenger. I had Jason record his voice saying the incoming and outgoing message. I was like boodly boodly boodly. So every time I'd be talking with someone, just give me Jason's voice constantly going boodly.
I love those.
Did you like it? Everyone else hated it.
I copied it. I had those files too.
Yeah, boodly boodly.
Is there a standard? Like, is there a government standard for what a horn has to sound like? Like a frequency?
Yeah, it's F.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, is it true?
Yeah. It's
What are you talking about? How do you know that?
Just fucking look it up, man. I don't know.
Do you have a really high IQ?
Just, yeah. I'm sorry.
It's old.
You asked me. I have to say yes.
You pick up shit. I mean, it's like I'm sure he doesn't want to know that.
No,
I bet every horn's not F.
It's the standard U.S. horn is in the key of F.
What if you want to harmonize?
Then fucking get a different car. I don't know. Get a car that's made in fucking your
he's
country or
100%
something,
correct.
right?
What's Europe's horn letter? Is Europe F?
All I know is you need to change your emergency vehicle. The sirens. I hate the European ones. The
Nino.
What's that?
Nino.
Nino.
Nino,
I don't know why. If I ever hear that in something, I'm like immediately know it's in Europe. And
You know
I'm
what's
just mad.
good about like English police cars and stuff? They're reflective. They're like bright yellow fluorescent colors so you can see them.
Yeah.
Your police cars are black.
Yeah, because
Not always.
our cops
Black
are
and
badass.
white.
Sometimes they're black and blue.
They don't really stand out.
They're
As,
trying to catch you.
Actually, the police cars in Austin used to be all white with blue accents, but then the previous police chief, when he started, he said that he complained that the police cars in Austin looked like taxis, so he changed them to the black and white color.
taxis are yellow.
He was. that was his complaint, was that he said Austin police cars look like taxis.
Well, also UK police have no authority. I mean, so who cares? You can see them. They can be in a fucking ice cream truck. It's fine. What are they going to do?
That'd be great if cops drove
John?
ice cream trucks. That'd be the best.
It's like,
Like everybody would love cops in the neighborhood then, right?
the
You know,
snow
what I mean?
Like, here's sorry, you're going 5 miles over the speed
Kids would
limit.
be
Here's your
chasing-
ticket, but here's
yeah.
your dip cone too.
People would be chasing the cop cars, right? No. Come back.
I do think they should separate the traffic control and authority from police officers.
I think so.
Because I don't like the fact that whenever I see a police car, my initial reaction is, oh shit. You
the
shouldn't
brakes.
feel that way about the police.
Hit the
Like,
brakes, yeah.
usually you see a cop nearby, you're like, oh, thank God there's a cop around in
Yeah.
case something happens.
Oh,
So you view them as only serving and not protecting.
Right. It's like when I see a cop car, I'm like, uh-oh, I'm doing something wrong. I gotta watch myself.
Which is really weird as a week dude.
Yes, they think
right?
that-
You know, like,
can't
oh
imagine.
my God, like, oh my, I'm so scared. That's just, I mean, honestly.
I told this story 2 weeks ago, I think, or 3 weeks ago now, about that I was waiting at a red light and there was a cop in front of me, and all of a sudden he hits his lights and just drove. No, he was behind me because he drove past me. He drove up on the curb and drove through somebody's front lawn to make a right turn.
Whoa.
Yeah. And I was like, and Gus pointed out afterwards, he goes, That's the definition of privilege. Like, you're a white dude. That's the weirdest thing you've ever seen a cop do is drive across somebody else's lawn. I was like, that's a really good fucking point.
Yeah.
That's a really good point.
Still, though, I'm pretty pissed about the cop driving over the lawn.
I know. I've had two incidents where cops pointed a gun at me. You ever had that?
No.
I've been handcuffed once. I've never been arrested, but I've been handcuffed once.
Why have you been handcuffed?
What the hell are you doing?
Stole a street sign in Galveston, 69th Street. My brother's girlfriend, she's a fucking idiot.
You stole the 69th Street sign.
Yeah, we were like, I was like, but
why?
I was like 16.
Why would you steal that
watching
sign?
that sign
You're
24/7?
16 too. Who are you 69ing at 16? Oh my God.
When you were that age, you weren't 69ing anybody.
You were trying to 69 yourself. You're like trying to make it work somehow.
You know, at 14, I could do that. Anyway.
That's just a 9.
limber
It's just a sad 9.
Yeah, that's like a crushed 9. What age were you when you first 69 someone?
I don't know. That's a good question. I went to college.
That's a great question.
Do you 69 someone or do you just participate in 69?
No.
Because all you can do is
Do you initiate or
you can only do half
First
of
of
that.
all, are you the
can
6 or the
6 or
9?
9.
Which one are you, the 6 or the 9?
Where's the camera?
Yeah.
Good question.
Too much multitasking. I mean, what are you guys out of time?
I'm hoping I-
Multitasking. You've only got to
I'm
focus
hoping I
on
get to
one
do that
thing.
one day.
No.
Oh, yeah.
You gotta focus on two things.
Well, oh yeah, I've really got to get focused on getting sucked off. Like, what the fuck do you mean?
Well, you want to enjoy it.
Sit there and get sucked
You
off.
want to enjoy it.
No, if you're 69, you gotta do something too. You can't just.
I think all you got to do is work on your end and try not to fart. Am I right?
But you do want to enjoy it, Gav, when you're not in a 69 and you're just getting regularly sucked off.
Yeah.
You're not doing your taxes or anything else, like multitasking.
Although that would be a great way to do taxes.
It would be.
I would be looking forward to tax day.
I was thinking I was close to doing another
You haven't
ad
seen my
read, but
accountant.
Really not going to get there.
We don't got like a 69 base sponsor.
Is April 15th going to get here yet?
Oh, jeez. God.
Yeah. So what are you thinking about during that?
You're asking me when
Baseball.
my date was. What am I thinking about during 69? I'm concentrating on what I'm doing here, and I'm concentrating on what's going on here.
But what?
69 sucks because you're
What's your ratio?
You're concentrating on doing something while you're also concentrating on receiving pleasure, and you can't do it.
surely it's like-
it's the worst position in the world. The 69 position is actually completely stupid. It really is.
But what's your focus
It
split?
seems
Are you
an
like
efficiency
90?
thing? Like if you've got like 5 minutes and that's it. It's like, well, we can't get to you and me.
Like,
so
between
let's just-
classes at school.
Yeah, I don't know what it is.
But how much? Like, what
Commercial
percentage
break.
are you focusing on one thing? Like, are you 90 and 10?
I don't know. I didn't like. It's not like a chess match where I'm like hitting the stopwatch thing. I don't know. I just think like you're concentrating on receiving and you're concentrating.
You can't be 90% on getting sucked off and 10% on doing your
It's
job.
probably 50-50. It's probably where the it's probably where the 69 comes from.
That's where-
69-31. That's what it is. That's what it means. 69% of my attention is devoted.
You give 69% of the attention, and 31% is you receiving.
You know,
Right.
It works out.
You know,
It
sometimes
equals out.
they'll clip out a bit of this podcast for Facebook, and it'll be like a quirky meme little clip. You think this is going to be that clip?
I hope
Probably.
not.
It could be.
Are you saying
Oh
that
my
so it
God.
won't be? You're hoping this won't be it?
Oh my God. No, I'm hoping it won't be.
So well, I can't even tell you what the age was that I first 69, but it had to be college. Had to be.
And did you make that move? You
I
like,
was married.
let's try something.
What's that? I don't know. It is a move though, because it's a full rotation. And
feel
you know,
like
when you were changing positions, the other person sometimes tries to figure out. Like there's like it's almost like a lambada,
Yeah,
like a dance
because
move.
it's very
Little
unromantic.
nudges, and that's it. Like you're leading a little bit, like, oh, go this way or go that way. We're doing this. And so sometimes the person goes upside, and you're like, no, we're not
Yeah.
going that way. We're
I
going.
feel like it's unromantic to be like 69.
It's like you're putting an order in. I'll take a number 69 right now.
But the 69 move is like the full rotation. So I guess you do have to discuss it beforehand because the other person's like, where are you going? It's like, what's
Could you do it while you're in her mouth?
like it's like
There's someone in an audio booth over there.
Sound like you laugh in the walls.
They're in the booth.
Oh my God. Hold on. So first of all, it's like one of the, it would be like rotating like this, right?
Yeah, like itsy bitsy spider on the pivot point.
That's it. It's the itsy bitsy spider. That's it. It's the
Yeah.
itsy bitsy, yeah.
I feel like you get to like 90
When you
degrees
get
of
down the water
rotation.
spout, right?
Like I feel like she tried to keep up for a while, and then after a while, like, oh, okay, see, it's coming around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like this. I mean, it's a dangerous move. If it's complex.
It seems
Overrated. I would say overrated.
Overrated.
It's
Huh?
overrated.
seems like done the wrong way.
time.
It could slice your penis off.
You know what
'cause
you
the
really
teeth.
got to be careful of, before you're 69 is proper grooming.
Really?
And
that
I
right?
think
Nice.
that's a great
By the
time
way, are
to
we introducing our
remind
next
you
sponsor, by the way?
that this episode of the Rooster Teeth Podcast is brought to you by Dollar Shave Club.
I knew
You've heard me talk about the amazing shave I get from my Dollar Shave Club razor, especially when I use it with their Dr. Carver shave butter. Well, I'm here to tell you I'm never giving up my membership. In fact, I'm adding even more Dollar Shave Club products to my daily routine. Dollar Shave Club makes products for your hair, face, skin, shower, everything you need. They got me looking and feeling amazing. I use Dollar Shave Club for just about everything. They got me covered head to toe, and it's all their own original stuff. They only use the finest premium ingredients and deliver it right to you. That means no more annoying trips to the store, cruising up and down aisles, looking at shelf upon shelf of what the hell is that and what do I do with it. Now's a great time to give Dollar Shave Club a try. You can get your first month with their best razor, along with the travel size version of shave butter, body cleanser, and yes, even butt wipes for just $5. After that, replacement cartridges ship for just a few bucks a month. It's the Dollar Shave Club starter set. Get yours for just $5 exclusively at dollarshaveclub.com/roosterteeth. That's dollarshaveclub.com/roosterteeth. Thank you, Dollar Shave Club, for sponsoring this episode of the Rooster Teeth Podcast.
Oh, that's awesome. I love Dollar Shave Club, by the way. I got a lot of real estate to shave up here. Yeah.
Do you have to buzz that every day? Shave that off?
Man, every day is what I do. Look at
That's
this.
good.
Look at
It's
this.
a good sheen.
Thank you.
Do you think anyone has ever burned an ant through a magnifying glass
Yes.
with light bounced off their head?
Oh, shit.
And
You
could that
can't-
be done?
You can't get enough light bounced off your head, I don't think.
Why not?
You could concentrate it enough,
Yeah.
and then concentrate it.
What if
in-
you had a
in-
polished head?
I think your head, it doesn't reflect enough light for that.
Yeah, it probably doesn't.
I had a friend in college. His name was Adrian, and he had shaved head. And whenever he crossed the big dorm here is Jester. How many people live in Jester? Yeah, Maddie does. Are
Do you
sure?
drive there frequently?
Do
Where
they
do you
know
park-
you live
where-
there?
where do you
Are you on
park?
like a lease officially or anything? She has a parking space, but no car.
That's her dorm.
But he would cross the courtyard of Jester, and the grackles would dive bomb his head every time.
It was shiny.
Yeah, it would just they'd make a run and just dive in his head. He'd have to
Dangerous.
scatter and run like he was avoiding bombs from a B-17 bomber or something like that. He's like one hand over his head, just running as fast as he could. So I always thought it was funny. I'd laugh my ass off every time I saw it.
Do you know him still?
No, I don't. I'm trying to remember what his last name is.
It'd be great in slow mo.
Oh, that would be interesting to see.
I can ask him.
That happened to me once where I was just walking and for no reason, I'm just walking down the street and then a pigeon flew right into my head.
David Edding.
It's like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah.
You can fly anywhere. Why are you flying this low and then right at my fucking head? Stupid bird.
Are you one of those people too? If a bird gets too close to you, you take a swat at it. Like if I can grab a bird or hit, totally with me. If a seagull or something comes near me, I try to hit him.
Yeah, Lindsay said her mum punched a pigeon in Trafalgar Square.
Holy
I
shit!
just wanna-
First of all, there's a shit ton of pigeons in Trafalgar Square.
Well,
right?
one less
They're
today.
everywhere.
Well, there
Right.
were. I think they culled a bunch of them.
How do they do that? They just put up a
Pyramid-
sign that says no
poison them,
pigeons
probably.
allowed.
No pigeons.
Just, pigeons, you're not wanted.
Get out of here.
Get out. Yeah, just
The queen comes out and goes, "All right, fuck off."
After Brexit, they just couldn't handle it. They went back to mainland Europe.
Went to Portugal.
Got the fuck out of there.
they are everywhere in Trafalgar Square, though, right?
Yeah.
I'm not even pronouncing that correctly.
Trafalgar.
Trafalgar. Square.
Trafalgar.
Yeah.
What else should we talk about? We're coming to the end of the podcast. So I want to make sure we talk
Are we
about-
coming to the end?
Yeah.
Do you
Oh
want to talk more about? Let's talk about the big project.
Look at all these
I would
pieces of
love to
paper.
talk. I know I brought some pieces of paper here, and
We
honestly,
didn't elaborate on the Bendy news.
we did not, and we'll save the best for last.
Okay.
But yeah, I wanted to talk about
People are
Bendy a
looking it
little
up
bit.
online, though. Really excited.
What's that?
People are looking it up online. They're very excited.
Thank you. I'm glad they're excited. By the way, we have a lot of affiliates, RT affiliates that already have been making Bendy music videos and some things like that. These guys the Meatly Games, whatever, they're a really cool group of guys. Mike Mood in particular is a guy that has a real pure heart. He's a Canadian guy, so he's he's an awesome dude. But more than Bendy the Ink Machine, I want to really spotlight something that they're doing right now, which I think is really cool. They have this thing called the Mood Foundation. Mike and Jillian Mood created the Mood Foundation, and it's for independent game developers up in Canada. But honestly, anybody that wants to learn or wants to be a part of a network, these guys are giving back, and that's one of the reasons why I really liked when I first met them. Not only are they making a really cool game that I personally it's right up my alley, but But there's also like a whole group of people that are really digging Bendy and the Ink Machine, and there's already merchandise out in the stores and stuff like that. But they also realize Mike Mood and the Meatly and Mike's wife Jillian Mood and the guys that work there, along with folks like Fat Mojo that are their partners in merchandise and whatnot. They're giving back to the community, which is really cool. So the success that they have that gives them a platform to spotlight other independent game developers, and that's what they're using their platform for. And I think that's really freaking cool. So for the folks that are listening right now, look up the Mood Foundation. It's Mike and Jillian Mood. It's the folks that are making Bendy and the Ink Machine. And if you're a budding game developer, or you're an aspiring game developer, then by all means, get in touch with folks. And there's a lot of resources out there for you if you want to make games. And there's a community there. And I think that's what it's really all about. I think when I came to Rooster Teeth, it felt like it's all about community, right? Even this year is the year of community and whatnot. And building community is one of the most important parts of what we do. And it's really cool to see folks that are just now, getting some success or getting some attention. And the first thing that they do is they want to give back. And that's one of the things I wanted to spotlight, in particular about the Meatly Games and the Mood Foundation. We're going to be revealing some more stuff later on throughout the year about Bendy and the Ink Machine, and I think that the folks out there are really going to love it. But that's enough. We can stop talking about Bendy. If we want to talk about any RT game stuff or whatever, I did have something, and I'll leave this for you now.
We have our project. We can't say the name of, which I wish we could.
We have our project,
I had
which
to
I want
warn
to get
Bernie.
to.
So
I know.
Don't say the code name or the secret name.
If I may,
why not?
you can do it if you want to. It's just I'm calling it Project Code Name, but there's a code
I also
name.
think the code name might imply something different too. Like people would hear it and think, okay, go ahead.
It's literally just an animal, right? It's
like
it's
Longhorn was Windows 10 or Longhorn was Windows.
It was Vista, wasn't it?
Something like that.
But so here's the thing that we're doing with this Project Code Name, whatever. It's a sci-fi first-person shooter. It's set in the future. And right now, I'd love to get some audience feedback, if you don't mind. Could I do that?
Please.
All
I
right.
think this is the first time a lot of them are hearing about it.
So this is set so far in the future that there's, language evolves. I don't know if you know this or not, but if you ever read the Canterbury Tales by Chaucer, whatever, the introduction of the Canterbury Tales is done in Middle English. It's in English, and it's like Wanderapon the Shorasote, the Drutromach and Pese to the Rote, and Badarevivan is Swishly, right? That's English, right? That's English from like 500 years ago.
Old English.
That's English that you should understand better than I understand. I mean, right? Anyway, the point is, though, is that language is almost indecipherable, except unless you know what I mean. That said, we're trying to come up with some far future language.
Gotcha. Okay.
All right.
To
So you
actually
ready?
sound like a different language?
Well,
Or just the occasional word?
you
or-
still
Language
You're
evolves.
still gonna. It does evolve, and you're still gonna have to it's gonna have to sound somewhat like English. But here it's catchphrases, jargon, and so on. And I got some examples that are terrible and some that are good, and we mixed them up. And I'd love to get viewer votes or whatever. All right, you ready?
All right.
These are mostly like
How are people
catchphrases.
going to give you feedback?
You can just say like, "Hey, I like that," or "That sucked," or whatever.
Give
you know.
us feedback on the hashtag RT
There you go.
Podcast.
Podcast, yes.
All right, there you go.
The RT podcast hashtag is now going to be just gibberish and nonsense. I love it.
It will
So,
be.
if you do something really cool in this game that we're making internally, right? Like something's really awesome. Something's
We're not going to spoil anything about the game. Don't panic, everybody. Yeah.
So I've got some things. I'll give you one. You can do some of these. You can say some of these.
yeah, give me one to say.
Shoot, I'm missing one. Here we go. Take that
But
one.
you know, don't show mine to the audience.
I got this one.
All right.
I like that you didn't like this one and gave it to me, Gavin. Thanks.
Yeah.
Oh, I was just passing
All
it
right.
down.
So
Yeah,
just,
you read it
what I'd
first,
like to
fucking
do is
asshole.
like if you'll just read like the first one on your card, Gus. If you tell me
This
like
is something good?
it's awesome, right?
Whap smacky.
Whap smacky. There you go. That's not bad.
Got mine. Can you do mine? Who janky?
I like Who Janky.
I like who janky. It's fun to say.
Jiggy dat.
What do you think?
That's 90s. That's too Will Smith.
You can sell it.
I got jiggy with it.
Some of these are terrible on purpose. We mixed some in there so that we could see if the audience was actually being.
If they like it, then
Matt
we know
would
we got a
love
problem.
saying that one.
All right. So what's another one?
Hop sticky.
Poppy don't sloppy.
Yeah, that's perfect for
It's
you.
a fun game.
Is that? Do I say the first part of that word just like it's?
Yep.
Not E, but Y.
Shino slurping.
Shino slurping. Oh my! I whistled a little bit on that. Did you hear that? Oh man, like my bottom teeth. Sometimes I whistle when I talk.
Do it
so-
again. Falling out?
I can't do it again. That's the problem.
It's like perfect.
It's like it's a button in a rare car in GTA.
only we
Get the
recorded it.
whistle.
So I don't know if anybody's liking these or not, but this is what we're trying to come up with. You can see how hard this is, by the way. These things will just roll off the tongue.
Yeah.
Anyway, can you? throw out another
Janky's
one?
getting some votes. I'm
I
happy.
like Who Janky. by the
Get
way.
my belt.
Get my belt, right? By the way, that could be for like machinery. It could be for
Like your
lots of
belt
things.
belt?
What would this be for? It sounds pretty specific. Who got the meats?
Oh, I'm sorry. I was watching an Arby's commercial.
This one feels like a kind of like a brush off for a compliment. Shit, ain't nothing but two dudes honking.
Hey, ain't
That
nothing
one
but-
right there.
Is it, a, good, is it a happy honk or a sad honk?
It's just two dudes honking.
Hey,
I don't
ain't
know.
nothing but two dudes honking, man.
That's it.
That's all it is.
That's all it is.
Who Janky? Come on.
Like,
Whap, smacky.
So we could say that it's a sci-fi.
I think
F-
based off the language that we've been using here, it's clearly sci-fi.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. You saying? I mean, you were saying this from your intro of it. I have a bad habit, David Eddings, of revealing information about things that we're supposed to keep secret.
Hop sticky.
So I just tell people, don't tell me, because I might reveal on the podcast, but that's just two dudes honking, as far as I'm concerned.
Hey, that's all it is. It's nothing but two dudes honking.
That's all
right?
it is.
Yeah.
Why are you even worried about it?
Yeah, before we started the podcast, you said you were talking about this stuff, and Bernie walked up, and I said, "Hey, we're talking about Project Codename. Don't say the code name."
You did say that.
I interrupted you. I was like, "Stop! Hold on for a second. And I turned.
I like that it
and
has
said
a
to
code
Timothy
name and a
walked up.
special code name just for Bernie to use.
Yeah. Oh, but just to be clear, though, Maddie also said, whatever you do, don't tell anyone in live action I have a car. I was like, oh, absolutely.
He's laughing.
What if you get
Hashtag-
her fired?
What's that?
What if she gets fired now?
I mean, I'm sure she can lie her way into another job. I mean,
Probably at this company.
probably.
This is her second time here. as I
Yeah, she's an
understand,
intern.
right?
She
Yeah.
can't get fired.
Yeah. No, but this is her second intern job here.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Their second intern
Just
job.
change your name, you'll be good to go.
You'll be fine.
Just get a mustache. It's like, no, I'm muddy.
What'd be funny is like on Monday when we get back from RTX Sydney, I'll walk into Matt's office and it'll just be Maddie behind his desk. Like, I'm the CEO
I'm
now.
Maddie Hullum now.
This
By
is
the
what
way-
happened when you were gone.
I see how this show devolves as time goes on, as the alcohol gets consumed.
It's what we do, Dave
Ah,
Eddings.
right on. Well, you know what? I've had a great time, by the way. I don't know if this is the end of the show.
No,
but
no,
I'm
we're
saying-
there. It's
but
time to
thank you
wrap
very
up.
much for having me. This has been
Hey,
fantastic.
thanks for coming on.
Yeah. Listen, I appreciate everyone. Thanks for joining us on this episode of
Yeah.
The-
Four Dudes Honking.
The final episode of the Rooster podcast.
Jiggy dat.
All right, so thanks everybody for
Who's
watching. We'll see you guys next week. And for first members,